you have a question for Mr. Robert Rickert? Dial 478-784-1102. That's 478-784-1102. It's your opportunity to ask the mayor.
Now, you've said that opposition to consolidation stems from a fear of the unknown. Could you explain that?
Sure I can. The fear of the unknown means that you've got a new government on paper that doesn't have a track record. So how's it going to work out? Well, we can't say with any certainty how it's going to work out.
Has that been the problem in the past, though? People are just afraid to try it?
Yes, but a good friend of mine points out that the only thing worse than the fear of the unknown is the fear of the known. We know that what we've got now is not working, and we need to change it for a variety of reasons, to be more effective, to be more efficient, to all be on the same page and working together as a community. We can't be effective continuing to limp along with two governments that oftentimes are in conflict with one another.
Now, if you could just break down for us the financial benefits of consolidation. I know that when or if the governments are consolidated, the population will increase and will be eligible for more federal grants.
Well, you're adding the entire county population. I mean, there wouldn't be a separate city limits and an isolated group inside. The new consolidated government would have a total of 165,000 people in it. Currently, the city of Macon has 94,000 people in it, give or take. So you could technically say that because the new governmental entity is both a city and a county, that the city would then have a population of 165,000 people, and the county would have a population of 165,000. It's this consolidated government. And yes, because they're all in the quote-unquote city, because the city would include all of the county, a lot of the federal grants that you get are based on population. So
when population goes up,
the community development block grant money is based on population. So if we went from 94,000 to 165,000, then yes, you'd be eligible for additional federal funds to service that additional population.
Now, how do you calm opponents' fears that taxes are going to be going up? I know in the city residents, the double taxation is an issue, but that's not going to be an issue if the governments are consolidated?
That's exactly right, Andrew.
What about for the county residents?
If you consolidate, you have eliminated the double taxation issue, and that's one of the wedge issues that keeps us apart and keeps us in this us versus them mentality. So if you eliminate double taxation, then we're all paying the same thing.
So you're saying it'll forward. Even out for county residents as well? They won't end up paying more?
Well, that's exactly right. That is the goal, and that is going to be the charge given to every member of the newly elected 9-member commission. It's in the charter that there is a mandatory 5% reduction per year over 4 years in the budget expenditure. So they're going to be looking for ways to economize. They're going to be looking for more efficient ways to provide local government services, and they're going to be trying to reduce the size of the budget. Well, if you reduce the size of the budget, then obviously the taxes go down, not up. Another thing that we're contemplating, it's not in the bill, but something that we're contemplating, is changing the fire millage tax that residents of the unincorporated area currently pay. Changing that to general millage, so it wouldn't be a tax increase. The amount would still be the same that residents of the unincorporated area pay. And city residents would pay that little bit of additional millage for their county taxes, the equivalent of the old fire millage protection, so that everybody would pay the same thing. But the benefit to the city residents is that there would no longer be a separate city tax that they would have to pay on top of their county taxes. So it's going to mean a significant savings tax-wise to residents of the city. But hopefully, no increase to residents of the unincorporated area. We just would all pay the same thing and make up the difference through these additional federal grants and a more efficient and effective local government that provides services on a more efficient level.
Now, it's taken so long to get consolidation, to get this bill off the ground. How do you feel about the finalized bill? Is there anything that you would tweak or change if you could?
Oh yes, if everybody's going to go in. There's no such thing as a perfect bill for everybody. I mean, everybody's going to have some changes that they would want to make in it. But is there anything I can't live with? No, there's certainly nothing I can't live with. And I think that the good that would result to our community from being consolidated and all on the same page far outweighs any small technicality that I might want to change in the bill. Anything
specifically that you would change if you could, or that you would want to change?
Well, there's a requirement that well, no, not really. I mean, you could go through here and flyspeck things all you want, all you want. But the main thing is, this is the bill that we've got. It doesn't do any good to nitpick it. Instead, you look and see if it serves our interest well. And I would also say this. It's not something that can't be changed either. I mean, this is not going to be carved in stone forever and ever. Amen. I mean,
it's something that's flexible.
It certainly is something that's flexible. It's under home rule. You can make certain changes to it that the new commission could do. If it's something beyond home rule, you could petition the state legislature to change the charter slightly to amend this or that going forward. So yeah, I think the main thing, though, is to get us all on the same page and get us consolidated.
Let's look forward to July 31st. Do you believe in your heart of hearts that consolidation will pass, or is there too much opposition right now?
I think right now it is a toss-up. I think you've got a group that is very adamantly in favor of it and a group that's pretty adamantly opposed to it, and a huge undecided. That people don't have enough information. They just hadn't made up their mind. They hadn't really started to think about it that much. So I think there's a huge undecided vote out there that will be decided in the next 3-4 weeks.
And you can vote on consolidation July 31st. And again, registration to vote ends July 2nd. I'm your host, Andrew Reeser, and we've been speaking with Mayor Robert Rickert concerning consolidation. And this citywide discussion will continue in a few minutes. Now is your opportunity to call in and ask the mayor your question. That number is 478-784-1102. Again, that's 478-784-1102. You can also email us at v101.7.com. We'll return with more of Ask the Mayor in minutes.
Do you have a question for Mr. Robert Rickert? Dial 478-784-1102. That's 478-784-1102. It's your opportunity to ask the mayor.
Welcome back to Ask the Mayor on V101.7. I'm your host, Andrew Reeser from 41 NBC News, with Mayor Robert Rickert, and we'll be taking your phone calls. You can call 478-784-1102. That's 478-784-1102. Or you can Facebook us your question at Facebook/V1017. Okay, caller number one, what's your question?
My question is, the mayor said that when no police officer lose their job or lose their rank, what about the chief and the deputy chief?
Good point. You've got an excellent point. Obviously, you wouldn't have a chief of police. You could have a chief deputy. You would have a chief deputy sheriff. But yes, in those two instances, point well made. You would not have a chief of police in addition to the sheriff, but you would have a chief deputy sheriff, and one or the other of those people might fill that position. But excellent point.
Caller number two, what's your question?
My question is, since they want to consolidate Bibb County with the city of Macon, and since they, in a sense, going to eliminate the Macon Police Department, and then in a sense they're going to eliminate the Macon City Council, why didn't they give the people in the county a chance to vote for a new leader instead of letting Mayor Rickert just lead the new consolidation? When they wrote the bill, why they just didn't give the people in the county a chance to vote for the leader? Because the people in the city, they voted for the leader, but the people in the county, if they consolidated, they won't get a chance to vote for a leader. Mayor Rickert would be they.
No. Let me correct you. Let me correct you. That's not right at all. Everybody gets to vote. That's number one on whether we consolidate. Both the people inside the city limits and the people in the county as a whole get to vote, and both have to agree to the consolidation. So the people in the entire county, everybody in the county, all throughout the county, gets to vote for the county, whether or not the county is going to consolidate. And then those of us inside the city limits vote a second time for the city to say whether or not the city is going to consolidate. But if the two say, yes, we're going to consolidate, then I don't become the mayor of the consolidated government. You have new elections in the fall of 2013. That's when you would elect your new 9-member commission, and that's when you would elect your new county-wide mayor. So, no, I would not automatically become the mayor of the consolidated government.
Next caller, what's your question? Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like we don't have another caller. Now, Mayor Rickert.
But I hope that answered the previous question. I would not become the mayor of the consolidated government unless I chose to run and was elected to that position. Similarly, not only does the city council go away, the current county commission goes away. And they would all have to run for one of these new 9 positions in the consolidated government. So,
and as you said earlier, you still haven't decided if you're going to rerun.
Exactly. I hadn't even begun to think about all that.
You got a lot of other things to think about, right?
You doggone right. You're doggone right.
Now, tell me, Mayor Rickert, is it realistic when we talk about consolidation to expect a savings of 20% over a 5-year period?
I think it's going to be tough, but I think there are a lot of efficiencies to be realized. Now, the previous caller just corrected me when I said nobody in the police department would lose their position, and he said, "What about the chief of police?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "You're right. You would not have a chief of police." But that's the kind of savings you can begin to look for throughout. There are going to be a lot of people that don't want to make the transition. They are of retirement age, and they've just been kind of hanging on, but they're not going to want to make the transition. And where you have 2 human resource directors, one for the county and one for the city, both of those people are not going to go. If they do, both of them want to continue to work, then one of them is going to be the new head, and one of them is going to be the assistant or whatever. But I think you're going to have a lot of people that are going to elect to retire, and it's through attrition and people and not replacing them that you'll be able to achieve a lot of the savings that you're looking for. And then plus, I mentioned earlier about the police and the sheriff and who's going to investigate an automobile accident at a specific intersection where the city limit line. The same is true for trash collection. We've got streets in our community where 2 different trash trucks go down the same street on 2 different days of the week. One truck that's a city truck will pick up trash from people on the right-hand side of the street because they happen to live inside the city limits. And then a second truck will pick up trash from the people on the left-hand side of the street because they happen to live in the unincorporated area of county. Again, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that's not the most effective way to pick up trash.
And you're saying that consolidation would eliminate that confusion?
It would absolutely eliminate that confusion and be a lot more efficient. And it's through those kinds of efficiencies that I think you're going to find the 20% reduction over 4 years. 5% per year over 4 years.
I want to go to our next caller. Caller, what's your question?
Yes, my question is for the mayor. What about city employees? Would they lose their job? No, I just heard part of the answer, but if they choose to retire, would they get their full retirement? And I also would like to say that I think the mayor is doing a fine job. The city is at a plus for the first time in a long time, and I want to keep up the good work.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. No city employee is supposed to lose the job. The consolidation bill specifically said it's their intent that nobody loses the job and nobody takes a reduction in pay. So city employees that want to work for the consolidated government would transition into that role without a cut in pay. There are going to be those, however, that choose to retire. And yes, they would get their full retirement benefits. That also is spelled out in the consolidation charter, that nobody's pension benefit that has accrued to them can be impaired or reduced in any way. And that becomes an obligation of the new consolidated government to keep that up.
I mean, that's long been a worry that pensions will be reduced.
Right, but there's absolutely no reason to worry about that. That's specifically set out in the consolidation bill, that nobody's pension can be reduced or impaired, and the pension obligations that we owe to employees will become the obligations of the new consolidated government.
Once again, you can Facebook your questions to us at Facebook/V1017, or you can call 478-784-1102. That's 478-784-1102 to ask the mayor your question about any issue you feel is important. Now, Mayor Rickert, is there any way to not raise property taxes in the county when it comes to consolidation?
Oh,
'Cause
sure.
I know that's a big issue right now with a lot of people who live in the county, is they're afraid their taxes are just going to go up.
Well, they're afraid of that, but no, and there is a transition team also that we haven't talked about that will work for approximately a year to come up and coordinate the two different codes of ordinances that the county has and that the city has, and come up with a new code of ordinances. They'll also start working, because this is, I think, a 15-member transition team that includes the sheriff and the current police chief, the mayor and the county commission chairman and the finance directors of both, this kind of thing. They'll start looking at ways to organize the new consolidated government and the departments of it, so that we can come up with a budget and begin to see where the savings can be realized as we go forward.
Now, I think one of the big worries people have is, not passing consolidation would be devastating for Macon and Bibb County, and that's what a lot of people have said. Do you agree with that?
I think it would set us back significantly.
Would Macon ever be able to recover from that kind of setback?
You would certainly hope so. Mm-hmm. This would just set us back, as far as I'm concerned. I think this is a window of opportunity for our community. And again, I just keep going back to this idea of being unified and all being on the same page. Let me see if I can give you a quick example of what I'm talking about. When my daughter was at Central High School, we would obviously go to football games for Central High School, and it was wonderful to sit in the stands with a diverse crowd, black, white, old, young, all cheering for the same thing. We were all pulling for the Central Chargers, and it's great to be sitting in a diverse audience cheering for the same thing. That's the same thing I'm telling you that I think would happen if we all got consolidated and unified in Macon and Bibb County. All of us would be cheering and pulling together to try to win and make Macon a better place to live, work, and play.
You're saying it would unify
I'm saying
our citizens.
it would unify our citizens, and we wouldn't have this us versus them mentality that seems to be holding us back.
It's Ask the Mayor, a public affairs program on V101.7.
I want to go to our next question. This is Travis Jordan. He asks, what is the percentage for the districts that are majority white? Earlier, I believe you were reading the percentage of black voters in certain areas. Now, Travis Jordan wants to know what is the percentage of the districts that are majority white.
Travis, let's see if I can reverse this back around, and I'm gonna have to.
Don't ask me to do any math, Mayor Rick.
It's so interesting. District number 1 is 25% black, so therefore, by doing the math, it would be 75% white. District 4 is 27% black, so do your math, and that would be 73% white. District 6 is 33% African American, so 67% white, and District 7 is 37% black. So you'd have to do that math, and that comes out to 63% white.
Okay. Now, State Representative Nikki Randall has said of consolidation, she said, it's simple. Either you want one government or you don't. But doesn't it go a little deeper than that, Mayor Rickert? Aren't the implications of consolidation a lot stronger than just you want one government or you don't?
I think so. Like I just said, what I think is so great about it is it unifies the people. It gets all of the people on the same page, singing out of the same book. We can all cheer and pull together for what's best for our community. I think it's a little deeper, and I would characterize it as more of a unification of the people, not just a consolidation of the two governments into one.
Now, county commissioners, as it is, are the lead agency in charge of managing SPLOST funds. If consolidation happens, would that remain the case, or
Sure.
would the mayor have more pull in that?
No. Well, the mayor. Since the new consolidated government is both a city and a county, then one government performs all that function. And yes, the mayor would have an additional role or an expanded role because the mayor would be the mayor of the entire county. Therefore, if in the future we chose to have another special purpose local option sales tax, currently only the county can call for that, and there has to be an intergovernmental agreement negotiated between the county and the city. So that's a great point because I hope people understand that no longer would we have to fight over the division of local option sales taxes. Does everybody remember that sales tax used to be split, the local option sales tax used to be split between the city and the county, 80% to the city and 20% to the unincorporated area of the county? Back in the early 1990s, they renegotiated that, and it went from 60-40, went to 60-40, 60%, down from 80 to 60 for the city, and up from 20 to 40% for the unincorporated area. And it crippled the city. And there's been this constant tension and antagonistic relationship between the city and county, struggling to fight for who gets what percentage of the local option sales tax. Well, in a consolidated government, 100% would come to the consolidated government. You wouldn't have all that bickering and fussing and squabbling over who gets what. The special purpose local option sales taxes, if we'd all be on one page, it wouldn't be how much do you get on this intergovernmental agreement to do what with, and we're not going to do that. And we would all decide as one government. You'd eliminate all that squabbling.
And the bickering would, in essence, cease, right?
And the bickering, really, that's exactly right.
Talk to me a little bit about the transportation special purpose local option sales tax. I know that's been also a huge issue around here.
It's another huge issue that is going to come up for a vote on July the 31st. And that is not just here in Bibb County. It's throughout our 11-county region. And it is an additional 1 cent local option sales tax that would take us from 7 cents on the dollar to 8 cents on the dollar. But it is for specific transportation and multimodal projects that have been selected by a local roundtable and would result in over $1 billion, that's with a B, $1 billion in construction projects in the 11-county area over the next 10 years.
Talk to me about one of those projects in Macon, Bibb County, that you feel is the most important when it comes to the transportation tax.
There are several, but one of these that would extend the runway at the Middle Georgia Regional Airport, allowing larger aircraft to come in for the MRO, maintenance, repair, and overhaul functions. We've got Timco out there and Bombardier, and you've also got Boeing that do this aircraft manufacture or repair, overhaul, and maintenance. It would allow larger planes to come in. It would also allow fully loaded cargo planes to come in. I don't think you're going to see the Middle Georgia Regional Airport become a huge passenger hub anytime in the near future. But I think we could become a cargo terminal and relieve some of the pressure on Hartsfield from a cargo standpoint. I also think this MRO function, maintenance, repair, and overhaul of aircraft at Timco and Bombardier, could be expanded and create more jobs. So that's one out of about 71 projects that this T-SPLOST would fund that I'm so excited about.
Do you think the T-SPLOST, if passed, do you think it would start a chain of events that would lead up to the Middle Georgia Regional Airport being a transportation hub?
I certainly think that, and I think that and the Sardis Church Sagoda Road connector that would link I-75 and I-16 together and give us the opportunity to create a transportation and logistics hub in the area around the Middle Georgia Regional Airport, where you could have warehousing and distribution of air cargo, tie that all together, and I think it would be a huge impact for the community. But there are scads of other projects, 71 projects, but every county, every one of the 11 counties in our region got their number one choice for a project. Then we leveraged other projects, I-16 and I-75. The completion of that within 10 years would be guaranteed if we pass this T-SPLOST or transportation referendum. Other local road improvement projects, bike and pedestrian projects are included. Sidewalks, for example, on Riverside Drive from Monroe Street down to Pierce Avenue and up Pierce Avenue to Ingleside with bike lanes. That's also included. So it's a quality of life issue. You relieve some of the congestion and provide additional transportation and transit options. There's money in here for additional transit, Macon Transit Authority, buses, and facilities. The list goes on and on.
So not only does it, change the face of Macon-Bibb County, beautifying it, things like that, but it also makes it easier for people to get in here.
And it's an economic development idea as well. So it's quality of life. You spend less time in traffic and more time at home with your family. You can get places where you want to go. It's local control. We're the ones that selected the projects, and it's jobs. They're estimating 23,000 jobs in these construction projects over the next 10 years. Unbelievable the number of jobs that would be created.
We have a few minutes left. Once again, you can call to ask the mayor any question you want. You can call the number 478-784-1102. Mayor Rickert, I want to talk to you about youth violence in our community. I know that was a huge issue, still is, but last summer was kind of the tipping point with that. Talk to me about going back to consolidation. How will consolidation of the police department and the sheriff's office help improve that issue?
Here again, I think the sheriff's office has a DARE program. DARE is Drug Abuse Resistance Education. And I think the city has a DARE officer. These, for the first time, then would be consolidated and better coordinated. There's a gang resistance education and awareness training, the GREAT program. There's the Police Athletic League, and there's AmeriCorps. These sorts of youth and intervention programs would become countywide and better coordinated. So I think it would be a huge positive impact on youth violence, as well as being proactive to prevent youth violence. We don't want to just try to catch who did it. We want to try to prevent it from happening. That's what we need to work on. So this sort of proactive youth and intervention program that Chairman Virgil Watkins has been working on and that I've been an advocate of and that we're trying to get together would be a coordinated county-wide effort.
Virgil Watkins has proposed many things when it comes to youth and intervention, but some of those things when it comes to city council have taken just a long time to come to fruition or to get off the ground. And so would consolidation speed up that process, do you think?
I think it would.
Okay.
I think it would. I think to coordinate it all, and it no longer would it be, well, I thought they were doing it, and they said, well, I thought you were doing it. Miscommunications, exactly right. So I think it would be more effective way of dealing with youth violence.
I want you to take the last few moments that we have and just sort of restate why you are so in favor of consolidation and why people should care enough to read the bill and things like that.
There's a lot of misinformation that's going on out there, but I would urge people either to go to the consolidation website, or heck, go to the state of Georgia, the General Assembly website, and pull up House Bill 1171 from the General Assembly website. Get the bill and read it yourself. It's not that hard to read, and you can find out exactly what's in there, and you can talk to other people and find out. I would summarize it by saying this. Number one, it would unify the people, and it would pull us all together. I love the quote from the Ron Kirk, who was an African-American mayor of Dallas, Texas, who was talking about if we're all in the same boat together, you can take no pleasure in the fact that it's my end of the boat that has the hole in it. That's because if we're all in the boat together and my end of the boat may have the hole and may go under first, but you're coming with me, the whole boat's going to sink. And so there are some people in unincorporated Bibb County that say, oh, just let the city of Macon, sink. Just let it go. Well, it's going to pull Bibb County down with it. this would put us all on the same page where we're all in the same boat together and bailing the boat out and putting the plug in the hole and starting to move it in the right direction and go forward. So it unifies the people. It creates a more efficient, more effective, and a more equitably financed local government. More efficient, more effective, and more equitably financed. So I think the benefits of it are huge, and I think it's a watershed date, July the 31st. And by the way, early voting starts July the 9th. So people can begin to vote on this on July the 9th. And I urge people to get informed about it, get educated on it, and then ask the right questions. I think it is going to be a more efficient government, and I do not agree with those that say it's going to cause your taxes to go up. In fact, I guarantee you, if you are a city resident, your taxes are going to go down because you'll no longer be paying the double tax of paying city tax and county tax.
All right.
So I would urge people to find out about it, to recognize that it's the end of double taxation, puts us all on the same page, and creates a more efficient and equitable local government. And more than anything else, it unifies the people and galvanizes us to a sense of action.
And we should mention that you can read the bill on consolidation2012.com. Mayor Rickert, thank you so much for being with us.
I've enjoyed it, Andrew. We didn't get many phone calls. Maybe we'll come back next month and get more phone calls.
Well, once again, this is V101.7. You've been listening to Ask the Mayor. My name's Andrew Reeser with the 41 NBC News at 6 and 11 and at 10 on my 41.2. You can catch me every weeknight. Once again, Mayor Rickert, thank you so much for being here, and thank you, the public, for your calls.